Okay, hey everybody, Tim Jones, Jones Team Colorado, eXp Realty. I'm here today with Amy Riffle, the owner of Coffee Bean and Bakery here in Pine, Colorado, right at the stoplight basically of US 285 and Highway 126, some call it Mount Evans Boulevard. Give them your exact address, Amy.
So we're 16 Mount Evans Boulevard. We are right next to Crossroads, right at the junction in Pine.
Okay, perfect. So Amy, take us back in time. That time that somebody inspired you to, to get that baking bug, that baking gene. What was it that got you started with your passion?
So believe it or not, it's Julia Childs. I used to watch her when I was a little girl.
Oh my goodness,
I used
okay.
to watch her. I'm not joking, because there was 4 television stations on, and PBS was one of them. So I used to watch Julia Childs and used to get a kick out of her language and just how animated she was, and it just was fun. So my dad being a Delta Airlines pilot, we used to travel all the time, and I used to play with the food that was served to me on the airplanes and pretend I was Julia Childs with my airplane food. And so it was, I guess, kind of one of those things that I always enjoyed doing. My mom's Italian, basically cooked, you kind of cook from when you get out of the womb, you just, here you go, how to cook. So I always used to help her in the kitchen, and then as I got older, my cousin owns a restaurant that's been around for about 60 years in New Jersey.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
okay.
they just recently decided to finally retire, sell the business, but she was always somebody that had the business sense versus just the cooking side of things.
Oh, perfect.
But they were written in journals for 10 plus years for Best Pizza in New Jersey. So it was one of those things that it was kind of almost in the family, but I just loved more of the finer dining.
Okay.
And so my ex-husband was a chef, and I really enjoyed cooking. It was fun, but baking just seemed to have more of a less time constraints, and you were able to kind of really study the more decorative side of things, where cooking
Brought out your
is so
artistry
fast,
and
fast.
everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
okay.
But I had my own Italian restaurant up in Jackson Hole, Wyoming market for about 4 years.
Oh, fantastic.
And that was a lot of fun.
We love Jackson Hole.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't afford it, but
Yeah.
it's it was a lot of fun. And the thing was, is right before I opened up that restaurant, I worked as a pastry chef for a coffee shop there.
Oh,
And because
okay.
he did not have any recipes and things like that, I brought on board all of the stuff that I did. Between the breads that I was doing, pastries that I was doing, scones that I did, and it sold very, very well. So it was one of those items that I thought, if I ever repeated this, I could do this for myself, since I was doing it for somebody else. And when I moved here, I kind of wasn't quite ready for jumping back into my own restaurant again.
Okay.
So I decided, let's try the bakery again. And
Okay.
so I had originally opened up in Conifer.
I see.
The space was a little expensive for what I could produce and what I could make. And a friend of mine told me about this space here, and so I got involved in this space.
Oh, terrific.
Yeah, so it was actually a perfect move, and absolutely love the location. It's much better, busier location, and I actually still have a lot of my regulars from Conifer that followed me here to this space. It was closer for them, so it was kind of a no-brainer for a lot of people to continue to come, and just more often.
Well, you can't beat that. And you really answered my next question is, kind of what's your journey been from that time of Julia Child into now and that sort of thing. So talk a little bit about your products.
So
and make sure everybody can hear you.
Yeah. So what I like doing is all aspects of cooking and baking. And so what I do here at the store is I added a lot of breakfast burritos, but I try to actually do a more elevated breakfast burrito, not just the standard green chili burrito, which we also have, but I also added a couple of different burritos that bring different elements of my cooking background into a burrito. So it's a quick grab and go for some people, and a lot of people that like to sit around on the weekends and have it here. But then we also do breakfast sandwiches. I also make my own bread, so I have a sweet and savory. That is different elements. So it's a honey roll, but then you add all of the, savory of the bacons and the cheeses and the sausage and things like that. So,
Gonna make me drool.
yeah, but I think we're famous more so for the cinnamon rolls
Right.
and the scones. So those are our biggest sellers. They kind of compete with each other on which ones sells more each day.
Okay.
But just to give you an idea, we sold 9 dozen in one weekend
Oh,
of cinnamon
my.
rolls, and the scones are not far behind. And those tend to be the things that people order for parties and bookings and things like that are easy for me to replicate and also sell in the miniature, like a miniature size, so people can taste a little bit of everything on
Okay.
bigger parties and things like that.
Okay,
So-
so good to know. I mean, not only can you come in here at Coffee Bean and Bakery
Yes.
and sit down, enjoy, and you guys have the absolutely, hands down, the best coffee around.
Thank you.
And enjoy one of those baked goods. But you do custom orders,
Yes.
so you'll do catered type items and
Yes.
things like that.
Yeah, as long as
Okay.
I have a couple of days notice, it's easy to do. Baking, unfortunately, unlike cooking, which is pretty quick, baking takes some time, especially when you're making breads and things like that. And you have to have a little bit of time to actually put everything together, let it raise, and
Okay.
but it's a lot of fun.
Right. So, I think people are kind of curious. I know when I walked in here today, you were telling me about some orders that you had prepped for Muddy Buck in
Yeah.
downtown Evergreen. So you do service some other
I have a couple
institutions.
wholesale items,
Okay,
yes.
okay. And then where do you want to take this? Where do you want to go?
So goal in the future, I'm somebody that enjoys challenges. So sometimes when I get to a point where I have accelerated and I'm able to get what I want, then I'm like, okay, what's the next challenge? So I love being part of the community. I love being able to give back to the community, and then also build my business on top of that. I love training people. So I think what my goal would be somewhere in the future would be to get like the little miniature carts and be able to go to different places with the carts. But I would like to be able to sell that to, say, people that are in need, somebody that wants a career but doesn't know the path to take. Whether it's women that are in situations where they don't have a job and they're just getting off a divorce, or they're in relationships that they don't need to be in, that they need to actually find their own thing, is to be able to give them an option to have a small mini franchise, at a very low cost, to be able to take some of my products and my items on a smaller basis and take it to either locations that they can do fast service,
Sure.
just for 4 hours, 3 hours of time. But that would be kind of almost a give back, because I like to donate certain things like that to different charities and things where
Oh, wow.
somebody can actually take that and market it elsewhere, but it not me have a part of it. It just
Right.
be me giving it away.
Oh wow, that's fantastic. I love that. And I could see how you could partner with different, groups and around in the community, and
Yeah.
Conifer and Pine and things like that, and outreach, Mountain Resource, and maybe some of the churches and things like that,
Yeah.
so that you could connect those dots and everything. So
Two of
that's
the girls that work here, they actually go to the food banks. Two of the girls work at some of the local thrift stores as volunteers.
Okay.
And then every single one of them is involved in a different church in the community.
oh, that's fantastic.
So
So, just to kind of wrap things up, anything else that you want folks to know? I know one thing that you've done to kind of help out the community, that is Tuesdays and Fridays are special days
Yeah.
for the residents around here, right?
yeah, it's 10% Tuesdays, 5% Fridays. It's pretty much for everybody that lives in the mountains. So that would be any of the communities up on the mountain. I've taken anywhere from Indian Hills, Evergreen, Conifer, Genesee. Not that we get like too much traffic, but when I-70 closes, they use 285.
285 gets busy,
Yeah, to get
as we
that.
all know, for sure. Okay.
So it's pretty much for all the mountain communities: Pine, Bailey, Buffalo Creek area. So
All right. Awesome. What else should we know before we go?
just come in and see us.
Yeah.
I mean, my motto with the girls and myself, and it's always been this way, is that it's friends and family. So you work with your family, and we like to have friends over. So I like to get to know everybody on a personal name basis. I try my hardest. I'm pretty good at it, but it's just having a smile when you're able to come in here, because
Right.
it's not just about the food and the product, it's also about the community and the people that like to come in, once, twice, 3 times a day.
Right.
Which right now I have 2 people in here that have come back twice today. So it's nice to know that we have created a comfort, for people, not just in the food, but also in, the atmosphere.
It's that vibe, and you do have Wi-Fi available for those customers that do want to hang out
Yes,
and
we do.
things like that. So
And we have quite a few of those that come in here definitely on the weekdays that prefer to stay here than have to drive down the hill.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Amy Riffle, Coffee Bean and Bakery, and number 16, right?
16 and 103 is a unit, but you can't miss us.
Yeah, yeah. And you've got signage right out on the corner, and then signs out in front of the store
Yes,
too.
we do.
Yeah. So great. Come in and see them. It's a great place. I'm a regular here, and sometimes they just have to kick me out. So come in, stop by. Trust me, everything here is fabulous.
Thank you.
Amy, thanks so much.
Thank
really
you so
appreciate
much.
it.
I appreciate it.
All right. Good job.
Great.
Okay.
That
Sound
was-
good?
woo. Yeah,
All
sounds
right.
great.
Okay.
That's all about making